This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, we join Duane Toews as he talks with Ethan Lane from NCBA about what regulations they would like to see regarding alternative protein products.
Duane Toews joining him once again on the program, an opportunity to catch up with Ethan Lane with National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Ethan, we talk about some of the industry issues that are of importance to consumers and producers. Truth in labeling and letting folks know really what's what, pretty important in today's society.
It really is, and you know, as we've watched the media sort of embrace some of these fake meats, these emerging, you know, the Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger, that's really been brought into stark relief. And you know, as we've seen them sort of use us in the beef industry as kind of the whipping boy for them to sell their product, it's become increasingly important for us to make sure that we make sure that the terms for how you label those products are really clearly set. That's been our focus. We're not afraid to compete with them. We know from market research that when we're given a head-to-head chance to compete, consumers prefer us. It's just, you know, they'll try the Beyond Burger once and then they go back to beef because it just tastes better, quite frankly. But we do need to make sure that when that stuff is in the meat case next to us, that it's not being labeled in a way that's deceptive to consumers. What we've seen from them is, you know, this effort to use chemicals to mimic the taste, texture, and appearance of beef. And then they have a package that has a little cutout in the corner and they show the rippled texture of the product and they inject it with beet juice so that it looks red. And they do all these things. And then they label it in a way that what we've found from our market research, consumers are really unsure what they're buying or what the value proposition is. They're just getting the marketing. So we worked with Congressman Roger Marshall from right here in Kansas, and we worked to get a bill put together that he was willing to co-sponsor along with Anthony Brindisi from upstate New York, a Democrat, in a bipartisan way in order to make sure that there is some practice on this labeling front that will give consumers some confidence and also protect our producers from you know some of these mislabeled products. So what the Real Meat Act does is it finally codifies the definition of beef in statute, and then it requires that anywhere where you're marketing a product with a label that imitates the taste, texture, and appearance of our product, you need to put imitation on that label in a font and a size that's comparable to the rest of the label. So you can't bury it in the corner, you can't put it on the back. You know, we see these little vegan V and different things. You got to put it right up front where consumers can look at it and see that is what they are buying, is an imitation product. And then finally, there's a component in there to deal with FDA's lack of interest in pursuing enforcement action on some of those labeling claims, right? We've seen this in the milk industry for 20 years now, and what we've seen is that they have violation claims from the early 2000s that they still haven't acted on. 19 years is a bit too long for our taste in the beef industry. We're not willing to go down that road. So what the Real Meat Act requires is FDA gets their 60-day look at a violation, and after that, USDA can step in with their authority and take regulatory action. That's what we need to see to ensure that these companies stay honest. And as long as they stay honest, level playing field, let's have at it.
Well, certainly you bring up the point that that was one of the reasons why the beef and other industries were pretty adamant that USDA continue to have an opportunity to have a say. Their track record of regulation has been much more consistent and science-based.
It has been more consistent, it's been science-based, and quite frankly, it's a lot more regular and it's a lot more kind of day-to-day, right? I mean, the difference between anybody in our industry knows the USDA inspectors are ubiquitous in plants and facilities and on-site, and they're part of the infrastructure. The FDA works at a monthly pace. I mean, it is far different, and when you're talking about a fresh meat product or a fake meat product that's going to consumers, food safety matters, right? And that integrity that consumers know what they're buying and can rely on it to feed their families matters. So we want to make sure that everybody's playing by that same set of rules, and USDA is a good way to make sure that's happening.
Our thanks to Ethan Lane. Joining us on the program, Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. After the break, it's this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay tuned.